Hi, I'm Virginie, and this is Better Minds. This podcast is a gentle space for honest conversations about mental health, creativity, and the music that shapes us. Whether you're healing, learning, or simply looking for comfort, I am so grateful you're here. Welcome to this brand new episode. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope 2026 will bring you creativity, joy, love, health, new opportunities, and I hope to hear lots of new music. I'm excited to share with you the first episode of Season 2. I talked to Grace Kay about driving anxiety and how anxiety impacted her creativity and music. And just so you know, I was pretty sick during this recording, so my voice was pretty interesting. But I just had to keep it real. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you like this conversation.
Get into it.
So you said that anxiety has been a big part of your journey. Can you tell me how it shows up for you?
Yeah. So for me, I really didn't start making music until 2017, but I was experimenting at that time. I didn't start seriously making music until 2019. And I had never really, I knew what anxiety was, but I couldn't have said that I had experienced it myself. And I was dating someone who was not very kind to me. And I had this like massive breaking point in 2019, which is why I was so like interested in the fact that like you have driving anxiety. It all like coincides with like one moment in my life, which was very weird. It was like right before I had decided to break up with this guy, who was very narcissistic, like made me believe that I was a narcissist. I had this whole story in my head that I had rewritten this like understanding of myself. And I had come to this conclusion that I was like not someone that could be trusted. Like I couldn't trust myself. Other people couldn't trust me. And it manifested itself in driving anxiety. And it showed up out of like nowhere. I had never had a problem with it in my life. And suddenly, like one day, in August of 2019, I was driving because I used to use driving as a way of like just doing something for myself. It was really fun. I would choose a place far away and go to a new coffee shop and sit by the ocean or something because I don't live near the ocean, even though I'm in Los Angeles. And yeah, I just had this like breaking point this one day where I like had a panic attack while I was driving. And like just so much became clear to me in that moment in like one, that this relationship wasn't good. I had broken it off like not even a month after that. And it's really the point in which I started writing like crazy. Like writing music. And I think it's more of like it was a way for me to express, because I haven't even started writing about anxiety until like now, like 5 years later. Because I find, at least for me, like I can't write about something when I'm in the thick of it. It's too close to home. And if I do, it becomes very messy, and it's like a therapeutic experience, but not an experience that like I find is like helpful to other people if I'm writing about it like as I'm going through it. But so a lot of the music I was writing when that happened in 2019 was really, really positive and uplifting. And it was the album that I wrote about like all of the women in my life. Mostly because at that point in time, like my mom would drive hours and hours to come and support me when I was going through, you know, going to therapy for the first time and trying to do exposure therapy. I think you do the same thing.
Oh my God, yeah. What a
Yeah.
struggle.
Yeah. Same. Because I was really afraid. And so, I had just these wonderful women that would show up and just sit next to me if I didn't feel like I could do it that day. I had them sit in the passenger seat with me if, I was feeling up to it, so I would feel less alone about it. And so while it was, I would never have said this 5 years ago when I was going through it, but I think it was one of the like best periods of my life, because it forced me to finally sort of like look outside of myself and realize, what a beautiful community I had. And writing about that was really fulfilling. Like, not for me, well, for me, definitely, but not just for me. It was fulfilling to make the art, and it was extremely fulfilling to be able to say, hey, my close friend, happy birthday. I wrote a song dedicated to you. So that was sort of like the start of it, at
Damn.
least. They're very hand in hand with my music career.
What a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually so powerful.
Yeah. It's it's something I'm very grateful for these days. And I still struggle with driving anxiety. I'm not perfect. I don't drive on freeways. But I drive all around town still.
Wow.
It gets better.
Do you have tips for me?
I know. I was like, let's see.
I'm still new at this.
I think honestly, I had a really lovely therapist at the time. I'm not in therapy anymore because money in America. And,
Ugh, yeah.
but I had a really wonderful therapist at the time that tried so many things with me. And I think just being experimental with like what works was really nice. She had me do so many things. One of my favorite things she did was because the I'm curious if there's like any kind of life connection for you behind it. But the me saying like, oh, it was about me not trusting myself, like it took me like a year to figure that out. Like when it first started happening, I was just like, I'm so afraid suddenly in the car. Why? But trying to connect it to like if you can find potentially some kind of meaning and then figure out a way to try and change that meaning. Like for me, I found that red lights and like being like trapped sort of triggered me. So that's why I really don't like the freeway because like you have to wait a mile or two, kilometer or two to get off. And then red lights, like in a really busy place, you're kind of stuck behind cars and you can't just, if you get anxious, you can't just pull over and take a break. And so she had me draw, like without asking any questions, she had me like open a notebook and draw what made me anxious. And I ended up, this is before I like figured it out, but I ended up drawing like a red light. So I think that's helpful because like it separates your like logic brain from the fight or flight feeling that happens. Because I tend to be I'm someone who likes to intellectualize things a lot to understand them. And I'm like, oh, because X and Y, Z, that makes sense. Yeah, but a lot of the times this stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. You just have to experiment with what makes you feel that way. And then if you can find any pattern, then see if that tracks. Because then what I did with exposure therapy was like with red lights, she there are physical things you can do to like break yourself out of becoming panicked. and this is, I laugh about, it's funny to me at this point because I do it with one of my best friends who, like, whenever I'm driving, I'm with her. Or when I'm driving with her, I do it, and we laugh and think it's fun at this point because it is kind of funny, and that's good because it'll pull me out of if I'm anxious. So I'll pull up to like a red light, and if I feel anxious, once I get there, I do, it's the victory pose. So you like put your arms in a V, and it's like, yes, I did it. And it's like you can't, it's so silly that you can't overthink it. You're like, I've done it, and I'm this kid that's proud of themselves for doing this thing. And then by the time you come around to getting used to the fact that it's silly, it's like the lights turned green again. You can go.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. What have you
Yeah.
been experimenting with?
I just don't like being the first in line because I feel so much pressure. And especially because I'm driving a manual, so I don't want to stall or anything. So yeah, but yeah, for me, it started with my lack of confidence. It started 20 years ago, and I only realized this now. So I stopped driving for 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, that was pretty intense to drive again. But that's powerful too. I love it, but it's still a struggle. It's getting
Yeah.
better though. It's been a month and a half, and I'm
Yeah,
trying
that's
to drive 2 or 3 times a week. And I wanted to drive this morning, but I was too weak because I'm sick as
that's
hell.
yeah, don't worry about it right now.
So I only drove a little bit in front of my house, and I was like, okay, can I drive again? Because my brain still thinks that I cannot drive for some reason. I know I can drive, but my anxiety is like, you cannot drive, you know?
Yep.
So
Yep.
every time it happens, I drive a little bit and I'm like, okay, I can do it. Shut up.
Yes, yeah. No, it's a lot of that because, and it's also not like it still is, and it was frustrating when people would be like, "Well, why don't you just do it? Like the more you do it, the more it'll be fine." It's like, okay, it's not that simple. It's,
Yeah.
I always
Easier
used to
said than done.
easier said than done, and it's also, I mean, I think a lot of people get anxiety and stress confused, or they don't understand the difference. It's like,
Yeah.
no, when I have anxiety, I mean like my body shuts down. Like it's like a physical
Mm,
reaction of, oh, it's like I can't, I can't motor function the way I usually do because I am so inundated with this feeling. And it was really interesting talking to my parents about it the first time it started happening because they were like, we just don't understand. Like, you were fine, like, months ago. Like, what's happening? And it's like, well, I don't know. It's more complicated. And I think that, I mean, we're similar ages. My parents are in their 70s. And they're, the way they have changed even over just the 5 years is interesting. It's like my mom will once in a blue moon see something online or like meet someone even that has driving anxiety, and it's really interesting. First of all, for me, because I've felt very alone in it. I don't feel like it's not something I see often. So when I
hmm
do, I feel very connected to it. And the fact that she's now like seen it more, it feels a little, it feels validating. I mean, and obviously when I like encounter someone that feels the same way, it's validating, and it makes it feel a little less alone. And I actually used to, I have a plethora of day job history. Like I've done coffee and I've done work from home account management,
Mm.
lots of things to keep myself afloat. But I had a coworker at one of my like account management jobs, who is she's a mom. She's 42. She's a mom. She's got three kids. And I like what I talked to her one day. It came up in conversation. She's like, "Yeah, I haven't driven in 15 years."
Oh, wow.
And it was really similar. It was like it just happened one day. And that like, she used to be fine driving and kind of similarly to me, by the way, like I was like the DD in my friend group. Like I drove everyone everywhere.
Mm.
And it was a really like beautiful freeing experience for me previously. I don't know. I feel like there's something more there every time I meet someone.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I wish I was normal sometimes.
I
Because,
know.
normal people just drive and they drive anywhere. But I found a community on TikTok. There are so
Oh,
many
you did?
people like us.
You should
Yeah.
send it to me.
Because
I
I've
would
been
love that.
posting about that, videos about me driving. And then you would see, obviously, all those videos with people with driving anxiety. And you feel less alone.
Yeah, because I feel like whenever I find out about it too, it's really similar stories. It's like, yeah, I would love it if you sent that to me.
I will. But yeah, you're not alone.
Agreed. And same.
Thank you. If I
Yeah.
feel better tomorrow, I will drive again.
Yes.
I kind of miss driving.
Just imagine me in your passenger seat with my arms up like that whenever you get to a roundabout.
Yay. I like driving with people. It makes me feel more secure.
Me too. Me too. Because I'm like, oh, I can talk to someone and distract
Yeah,
myself. I always call
exactly.
people when I'm driving.
Yep. So, how do you deal with anxiety while you're performing or in the studio?
Yeah, it's in the studio. I don't deal with as much anxiety in the studio. To be fair, I I am blessed with a very like comforting setting for that. My producer is my boyfriend of 6 years. And we make all of our music like in our living room. So the studio experience is actually quite comfortable. The live performance experience, however, is I also like had this weird switch later in life. So I was an acting major in college, and I did the acting thing for graduated in 2016. I was like sort of trying to act until 2018, maybe 19. And so I used to feel like so whatever about getting on stage because I was like, yeah, I have a degree in this. Like I do this all the time. And I don't know, there's just like something that happened once I stopped acting. And also, 2020, we couldn't do
Mm.
shows for a long time. And when I came back, I think my first show as an artist, like just Grace K, like not doing covers or something like that, wasn't even until 2022. And I don't know if any of the other artists you've spoken to have done We Found New Music, but I did a We Found New Music show in Los Angeles, which like relatively should be low pressure because it's a showcase. So it's like
Mm.
five artists performing like, 5 to 6 song sets or something like that. And it's weird. I was so confident going into it because I'm like when I do hyperfixate, like I lock in. So I like prepared for that show so much. I had, a musical director and a person on keys and someone on a guitar, and I was singing, and it was tracks, and it was way more complicated than like any other musical show I'd ever done. Because previously I just like showed up to a place with a guitar, like, it was very, very simple. Before I was doing my own music, I was mostly just doing like acoustic stuff. But yeah, I was actually feeling really confident going into the show. And then my whole background is musical too. So like, it like sounds bad, but this was my perspective. I've been singing my whole life, and a problem I've never had is like being pitchy or like feeling like I sound like bad. Like there can be imperfections, that's fine. But I remember doing that show and feeling great about it because I had like blacked out in the middle of the show because I was just like there and present and having a good time. And then I got like video back from it and I listened to it and I was like, oh. And I've like talked to other people and like, of course, they're like, oh, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't whatever. Like, no, you sounded fine. I really enjoyed it. But it was the first time I had heard myself back not sounding like I did like what 5 years prior or something like that. So I've definitely fostered a little anxiety around performing these days because of that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I went on this whole like I took like voice lessons with someone who's amazing and lovely and I'm obsessed with him. He studies neuroscience and teaches voice like from like mostly with physicality, which is very cool and interesting. But aside from the fact, yeah, I have a lot of anxiety about like how I sound when I perform, and I've found in the last couple years that I feel like I rely on too many people, and that sort of there's too many factors that could happen in a show. And so I've challenged myself recently to do shows alone. So, which is also terrifying. It's terrifying in its own way because you're like up there alone. But it's good. I feel like I'm like learning and growing a lot, and that's a big deal for me. Like even if it's a little uncomfortable, I can practice in my house. First of all, I don't have to like rent a space. That's the other thing, especially in LA. It's like I'm not going to do a show and all my friends are musicians. It's like I'm going to
Mm.
pay them if they're doing a show for me, and it's expensive.
Everything is
Everything is
very
expensive.
expensive. Oh my God.
So so yeah, I mean that was another reason that I was like, okay, maybe I try this alone. And I don't know. I'm still, or actually, let's see. I think I've shifted from being anxious about performing to now being like normal nervous and stressed. Like I'm kind of neurotic the day of, but I still do now get up and like I always have a good time. Like when I come down after the show, I'm like, okay, I'm happy I did this and I'm happy that I'm surrounded by people who had a good time. And especially because a lot of my music again is about literal people in my life who like are my friends, who live near me and can come to my shows. Like that's that's really special. And so I try to, when I'm doing shows now, remind myself of, you know, this is an experience to share. Like a phrase that I've been connected to recently is wanting to share my music and not show it. Because it feels like, especially in LA, I'm from LA too, so I'm not even like one of these people that's like LA, like all the people there suck. It's like, yeah, I know I'm from here. Like I know how it can be. But but there is this sort of feeling, at least in the Los Angeles community, and I'm sure in other large cities too, of like when you do a showcase or something, it's like, look at me and the press that I've got and the blah blah blah. Which like is necessary to a certain degree, but I think it's easy to get lost in that sauce a little bit. And I had this sort of like realization earlier this year that I was like, oh, I think one of the reasons I'm like not feeling as drawn to performing is I've built up my own perception of that in my head. It's like I've decided that, oh, these shows are all of these people that only care about views and only care about numbers, and it's not about the art, which like I have no idea if that's going through someone's head, like that's my perception at the end of the day. And so shifting the way I look at these shows, and instead of like looking at them with, I mean, what it is, judgment, like I don't know these people and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be shallow or whatever. Shifting my perspective to make it into something that I'm excited to go to and share has made it a lot more fulfilling for me recently to be able to go and get up there, and the why and the purpose of why I'm there is just to be in community with people and share art, because that's like why we make it.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah. And that's
I wish I could come to one of your shows
I know. I would love for you to be there. I do
one
this like
day.
I do this one song where
You
there's
sing
this
in
like college.
French?
I wish. Oh my God. I have such a I took 1 year of French in middle school, and I had like the worst accent. And my teacher, maybe you can validate this for me. The teacher was like, "Oh, what's your name?" And she's like, "Oh," I was like, "Grace," and she was like, "Gras," and she was like, "That means fat," or something. Like, is that right?
Grâce.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it means, yeah, fat.
And I just remember being like, "Well, French isn't the language for me." No.
But it means fat, but it also means grace. The
Yes.
grace of God, for
Yeah.
example.
Exactly. Which we learn.
Voilà. But yeah, French is hard. But yeah, what were you saying? You were saying something.
Oh gosh. Something about, yes. At my shows, there's this one song I do called, well, it's the song called Grace's Gospel, which is like the title track off of
Oh,
my
one of my
album,
faves.
Grace's Gospel. And there's a fun fact about the song is the whole album was about all the women in my life. And as many as I could coerce to do this, there's this one breakdown where they all sing like, "If you go, we will stay, we will wait for you." And I actually got like a ton of my friends who I wrote songs about to sing that, just like on their phone or something. And like their voices are in that choir. And so I thought it would be really, really sweet at a live show to like do like an audience participation. Like I'm going to teach them that choir part. And so I do it and I break it up into 4 parts. So you only have to learn like one line. And I have these little like big flashcards that like 4 people in the audience will hold up. So all I was saying is if you ever come to a show, you'll get one of the
Oh my God.
flashcards.
I would love to do that. I would love to sing that part. I love it. I love this song so much. This is one of my favorite songs ever.
Oh, I'm so glad.
My
It's yeah, it's a
favorite
special one.
Grace song. Yeah.
Oh, you said it's your favorite Grace song?
Yeah. It is.
Oh,
My
I love
favorite Cass song.
I love it.
How do you stay grounded in who you are, even with all the expectations in the music industry?
That's a good question. I think a few things. The music industry is a tough one. So
Oh, it is.
it is, and at the same time, I also come from like the acting industry, which there's positives and negatives to both, but I really struggled with the acting industry. Um, just because, I don't have a perfect body. Like, who cares? I don't, whatever. And the acting industry, it's like, oh, well, that's what's important is, how you
Really?
look. Oh my God, completely. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, you're a commodity. Like, they have to like cast you as something, and Hollywood like doesn't want to cast people that, or here, this is the better way of describing it. They'll only cast people that are in like exaggerated boxes of what people will write for. So if
Oh,
you're a
okay.
woman, it's like it's one or the other. You're either skinny, beautiful, gorgeous, girl next door, sexy but still demure.
Mm.
Like honestly, just this like gross and like perception of a woman definitely written by a man. So you're either that or, you are this like caricature of like a funny friend. It's like, okay, where's the nuance of like just normal looking people with they can be funny sometimes and they can be serious sometimes and they can, I don't know. So, and that's one of the biggest reasons I left the acting industry, as well as just like I had a couple of like experiences on set that I was just basically like, this doesn't align with who I am. And so for the music industry, while it's tough, I think part of what drew me to the music industry is the fact that it's about the music. And of course, on a very realistic level, it's not just about the music. Like, it is about marketing and your visuals, and to a certain extent, like how you look. It shouldn't, but it
Mm.
is still. So I find it easier, at least, to be a part of an industry that the focal point is what you hear and not what you see. I still have fun with visual. I do all my visuals myself. I think that actually does help me stay grounded in it, in that like what I didn't like about the acting industry is that I was a tool. Like, I was somebody else wrote this story and had this character, and like I wasn't a part of the creative process of making it happen. I just like filled in this role that had already been
Mm.
written. Whereas with music, there's so much more ownership. And I think that that's what really pulled me into this career and having it feel fulfilling. It's when you can say, like, yeah, I came up with this concept for this album that's personal to me and that can speak to other people. And, just something as silly as like, yeah, I used to collage when I was in fourth grade. And so I said, why not give it a go and like make one myself as my album art? I'm not like a visual artist by any means, but I do make all of my album art myself. And it's just a matter of like, yeah, I have this idea in my head and I use my iPhone and I'm good with Photoshop. Can like, bring ideas to life potentially. And so I think that as long as a few things will keep you grounded in the music industry, which is, and I think the most important one that keeps you grounded is just like being clear on like who you are as an artist, because I think the main difference for me when I'm experiencing someone else's music is it tends to be clear when someone is making music as like a figurehead for like I make music for Netflix, versus oh, this person is just like sharing how their perspective on life. Um, and there's a really cool and artistic way of doing that. Yeah, it's authenticity for me. And I find that there is a lot more authenticity in the music industry than there is in the acting industry. Just because, well, the nature of it. I mean, like, you're an actor, and of course you're like an artistic person because you want to tell the stories, but it's your job is to embody something else. You have to be good at doing that. And and I think that that was a hurdle when I started making music too. Is I sort of like I was like, oh, if I'm going to be a musical artist, I have to come up with this character. Like I mixed the idea of brand and character, which like when it's a concept, I think it's really cool. Like Lady Gaga is a character and a brand, but that's like a very, very cool vision that she has. And I do believe it's like, connected to something personal for her. But what I mean is when I started, I was like, okay, so if my voice sounds, sultry or whatever, I should be doing R&B and I should look like XYZ person and it should sound like XYZ. And it's like, no, 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 that's not a good place to start. There can be inspiration, but it has to come from you. And that's why I started making music in 2017. And I did. It's funny. It's not online. You can't find it. Secret Grace K. I started making music that was like basically R&B
Really?
because I love R&B. Like I listen to that music as a listener, and I'm an appreciator of that genre and that art. And I was really lucky to be part of a free program that I had to audition for, but a program in it's like near Torrance or Carson in California.
I used to hang out there.
I love it. I mean, such good food. And a really like lovely creative community. There's a dance studio that I think, no, they're called Epicenter now. They used to be called Boogie Zone Utopia, which is the best name ever. I'm like sad they renamed it, but they had a program called Developing Next Artist that I like knew someone who taught a class there, and she recommended that I check them out. And I mean, they were an hour and a half away from where I live, but I went every week for like a year and a half or maybe 2 years. It was this beautiful community of people, and I loved them. And it was like a ton of dancers. It was really mostly for like dancers to get experience, like backing up artists. And then the artists that they would get would be developing artists. And so I was one of them. And it was really like, I mean, I had only ever done covers before. This was truly, truly the start of me making music. And yeah, I made a lot of R&B music there, but it was very influenced by like the people that I was around. The choreographers did a lot of, I mean, it's music that I love. It's like old school funk, like Janet Jackson, and like just really good, like funky music. Because their primary style was like jazz funk in terms of dance. But yeah, I was very much influenced by the people I was around. Which is beautiful, but it was a moment for me to say like, oh, wait, just because I love listening to this thing and I love being around it, like culturally, I love watching them dance, and all of that. It's like, oh, it's not me, it's not mine. And I think that's okay. I mean, like, you're not gonna be perfect when you start out making music. It's kind of like a tall order to be like, you better know exactly who you are right when you start. I don't think anyone is. Um, but uh, but yeah, it's really, really fond memories, but it wasn't me. And I remember the moment that like within 1 year, I heard Muna for the first time and I heard Caroline Polachek for the first time. And that was in, I think, 2019. Big year for me, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember listening to them and I don't know, there was some like reaction I had that was like, oh, it's not that I just admire this. I like relate to this on like a biological level. Like, there's something about this soundscape and like these melodies and this production that I'm like very, very drawn to, and not in like a listener way, but in like a peer way. Um, so yeah, I think like one, get to the bottom of your story, and two, like be patient with figuring out what you listen to and like figuring out the difference between what you like listening to and what like you want to be. That
Mm.
was big for me. That was a big turning point. I still
So,
is.
who are you? That's my favorite question. Who are you?
Mm. This is just like the one of the interview questions you have. Who are you? I
I
love
love
it.
this one.
That is a good question. Um, I this doesn't come off as weird to say, but like I'm a normal person. Like I I I'm a woman who likes to make music, who needs to have a day job to support being able to make music. And I'm learning and growing every day like anyone else. Uh, and yeah, I'm someone who loves to learn and grow.
Nice. Can I be your friend?
Yeah, we're already like long distance buds.
We are. But you didn't
So
tell me you had blonde hair now.
it's I feel like this camera like is extremely contrasting.
2019?
It is, right? I'm using my boyfriend's like gaming setup because he has this little mic. Um, I've had this for like 3 years or something. It's just like the underside. I used
It's
to call it my
pretty.
skunk hair. Be like Cruella de Vil.
It's pretty. I miss my blonde hair.
Oh yeah,
Too,
because you have fully blonde hair,
yeah,
right?
but too much work. Too much work.
My friend did, she has like naturally very, very dark hair. And she did not blonde, I don't know, not gray, silver, I guess would be
Mm.
like what you would call it. Um, it looked so good on her, but she's an actor, so she was like, I can't keep it, and it's way too hard to like keep up with.
Yep,
Because I suggested, I was like, you could do it yourself, and she's like, I don't trust myself to. She's like, a professional needs to handle that.
exactly. When it's very, very dark.
Yes.
First of all, it's so expensive,
Yes. Yeah.
and my hair got pretty messed up, so now I need to keep it dark. Sadly.
She feels the same way. She's like, I lost my hair from doing it. And she's so funny. She's like, I have a bald spot. And she'll like show me, and I'll be like, you're not bald. But I support her. I got her rosemary oil for her hair.
So nice of you. I have one last question.
Okay.
Do you have an advice for anyone struggling with anxiety?
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I probably have so much advice. It kind of depends on, the source of what you're dealing with. But for me, the biggest lesson I had to learn, the quickest, was that you have to ask for help. Like, it's not something that should be dealt with alone. It's so overwhelming. And that can show up in very different ways for whatever kind of anxiety you have. But it's like, for me, I wasn't gonna do that exposure therapy that early unless I could call someone or unless even they wanted to hang out with me and sit in the passenger seat. I went to therapy for the first time. I definitely needed to. And if you can, you should. Because it's really helpful. And so seek help. It doesn't make you less of a person. That's what makes the world go round. It's like, I think that we live in a world where there's this perception of like hyper individualization, which is good to a certain extent. It's like, yeah, be exactly who you are, build your own life. But I feel like there's like this notion now that it's like, oh, you don't owe anyone anything. And when you think like that, one, I don't think it's very nice to like your community to be like, I don't owe anyone anything. But two, it's like when you flip it around, it's like if you think everyone else feels like that and you don't believe that they owe you anything, it's it's a very lonely existence. Like, and that feels like a new thing. Like community has like always been something that exists since we're like first evolved creatures. So I think that making sure you have someone you can talk to about it, at the very least talk to about it, is like paramount. And then in terms of tackling it, one of my favorite things my therapist told me, and this is not like, I'm sure you've heard this as well, but thinking of your anxiety as this person or this entity, instead of just like a feeling that you have. I thought this like got to me when I was in therapy. It made me very emotional when I first heard it, which is like your anxiety is just like a friend that's or like an overprotective mom. Like, like she's just worried about you and she's not showing it in a way that's good, obviously, but reminding yourself of that like human response or like this is why moms are like helicopter moms or are, something like that. And my therapist was like, I want you to like, close your eyes and imagine just like every time you get really, really anxious, like imagine yourself just like hugging her. Like if this is like a little you that's like afraid, and saying like, hey, I so appreciate that you're worried about me, but I'm okay. That was always very powerful for me, like that kind of visualization, because we're all just little kids.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
See, I don't see a therapist, but I learned that too. That we
Yeah,
have to
it's
talk to
it's
that anxiety as a little child.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
basically our inner child, I would say.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I would always tell her, it's okay. I can do it. It's gonna be okay.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
fine. Yeah.
I don't know, also, have you ever heard of tapping? The EFT
Yeah.
tapping, the
EFT
emotional
tapping.
freedom technique. Um, yeah, works really well for me. But again, there's so many things out there, and it's like, yeah, one thing will work for one person, one thing might not work.
I've been trying that, but I stopped. Maybe I should try again. Or maybe I'm not doing it right.
I will send you the video that I use like every time. But the biggest part of it, like just the tapping sensation is fine, but the biggest part of it is vocalizing
Yeah.
the like repeated notions. Because what you're trying to do is you're basically trying to like, drill into your system. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah. I always say things like, I am safe,
Yes.
I am capable, I am loved, stuff like that.
Yeah. I always do it guided. I don't even do it on my own. I'm like, there's professionals out there. I follow YouTube videos, so I will send you my favorite YouTube video. And you
Yes,
can send me the
please.
TikTok community you found.
Yeah, I will have to find them again, but I always see them pretty much every day.
I love that.
I just like one video that was like, she's a girl from the UK and she was crying because she had to go to the store. She was like, I wish I was normal. And that hit me so hard. And then she went
Oh,
to the store and she bought some flowers to gift herself because she made it.
yeah. Oh, but that's so sweet. That's what I mean. It's like you have to reward yourself for like those wins. And I feel like it's really easy to be judgmental of like, oh, well, that's not a win. Like people do this every day. And it's like, no, but that's a win. That's a huge win for you. That's
It
like,
is.
that's what I mean. Like rolling up to a stop sign and staying stopped for that amount of time is a win for me. And so as funny as it is to like, do my little victory pose, it's powerful. It's like you have to be proud of yourself for growth that you make and not like embarrassed by the fact that you have to make growth.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this conversation. As I am recording this, I am still struggling with anxiety and driving anxiety, but it's getting better. Talking to Grace was meaningful, and knowing that we're not alone means everything. So, if you're struggling with anxiety and driving anxiety, please talk to someone and please be gentle with yourself. You are beautiful, you are capable, you are safe, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. If you're an artist looking for support or guidance, I offer services to help you grow your music journey. You can learn more on my website, bettermusicofficial.com, and connect with me on social media at Better Music Official. Thank you so much for listening. See you in 2 weeks, and as always, take care of your mind.